Sidetrack, March 2026 tram diversions in Prague. Why am I making this video? Tram diversions are pretty typical in Prague, like any other transit agencies. In the case of the diversions in March, there are basically 6 lines that turn into 3. Let me explain. So typically there are 4 lines that go to or beyond Kobylisy. They are lines 3, 10, 17, and 24. However, with this closure, trams can't access to Kobylisy from around Hercovka. Meanwhile, there are 2 other lines, lines 6 and 14, which aren't directly impacted by this closure, but they help with the tram diversions. What this diversion does is that instead of trams terminating or continuing from Kobylisy, they will exchange to a different line number. So for example, line 17 will start at Levskeho, go all the way to Hercovka, where it'll exchange to line 24, where line 24 will run all the way down to its normal terminus at Náměstí Bratří Cinque. For me, it's exciting because it's interesting to see how long it takes for one tram to complete 2 lines, especially the ridiculous nature of the combined routes. So because I forgot to film the intro of this video to my first trip, we're gonna start back at oh god, I forgot the name already. Whatever it is on the screen. So now we're going to start our journey with line 17, which will then turn into line 24. We will be covering every single line that's being diverted, as well as shuttle services being provided. We're also going to be timing every trip, which also includes the total trip time with the combined routes. Also, I'll throw some tidbits about the lines themselves. The first fun fact of line 17 is that it's one of a few lines that has a very frequent service. And because of this, whenever you look at the timetables at any of the tram stops, it requires 2 pages where other tram lines use only 1. One page is dedicated for the weekday schedule, while the other is for weekends. Another cool fact about line 17 is that it's one of a few lines that has more than the 2 usual terminals. And one of those terminals, Libuš, is actually a stub-end terminal, where most terminals are loops. So usually every other tram that you see on line 17 is a KT8D5, a dual cab tram, which coincidentally, we're riding on that tram right now. And a pretty cool thing that isn't really a fact, but the line mainly runs on the right bank of the Vltava River, so you get some pretty fantastic views, especially Prague Castle. But now, after riding some time on line 17, we make our first lap at Hercovka to switch on over to line 24. Line 24, as of the release of this video, is one of 2 lines which only operate on weekdays from 6 in the morning until 8 in the evening. There's a reason I say as of the release of the video, but more on that later. There will be a lot of revisited places along this whole adventure. Balmovka, Masaryk Station, Wenceslav Square, and Charles Square, just to name a few. And after some more time, we finish our first trip at Náměstí Bratří Cinque.
Terminus, please exit the tram.
Hey, we're at Spodilov, where I made the intro to this video. I'll have some times listed of the overall trip of the 17 and the 24, but for now, we're going to be boarding on line 14, which will then be line 3, and we're going to go all the way to Sídliště Modrany. And buddy, oh pal, oh my, do we have a special guest for this trip, because the tram we're going to be riding on is Prague's newest tram, the 52T. Don't you just love that feeling of superiority when you're riding in transit and you're just flying past traffic? Ugh, such a nice feeling. So the fact about line 14, and similarly with line 6, is that the 2 lines switch with each other when they end at Nádraží Holešovice. So kind of similar with this tram diversion where a tram will exchange from one line into another. But actually this wasn't the case a few years ago. You see, line 6 and 14, as well as a few other lines, used to cross this bridge called the Libenský Bridge, where trams used to come from the western bank of the Vltava River at Holešovice to their eastern bank to Palmovka. But as of now, there's reconstruction happening for this bridge, so the trams can't actually access the bridge. And so on top of the current diversion that we're experiencing, line 6 and 14 have another ongoing diversion. But on top of all of that, in the middle of April, the Dvoretsky Bridge is gonna open, which will cause line 14 to cease temporarily. And that's because in summer of 2027, when the Wenceslav Square line expansion, or I should say revitalization, begins operating, is gonna cause line 14 to be completely rerouted, and part of the line is gonna run through that new section. So if you're interested to see the opening of the Dvoretsky Bridge and the future Wenceslav Square tram re-expansion, hit that subscribe button to stay tuned to when those videos come out eventually. Tramception. After some time, we make it over to Hercovka again to switch on over to line 3. So my fun fact for line 3 is that typically when the tram terminates in the south, it goes to Nadrži Branik. However, during rush hour, trams alternate between Nadrži Branik and Sedliště Modrani. And you won't believe which terminus we're going to. Just finished riding the combo line 14 and 3, gonna place the times it took to ride them. For now, we're gonna call it a night, save the longest journey for another day, as well as riding the X17 bus and the line 37 tram. So with that, transition at Sedliště Řepy, where we're now going to ride our final 2-line for 1 tram, and then following that we'll be taking the 2 shuttle services. But I have here a buddy of mine, Finn, because I need someone to help me finish the journey. Was that funny? Excited but also terrified for this journey. Like, excited that we're gonna do this bizarre ride, but scared because it's 2 hours.
Yeah, this isn't like the last one.
No.
This is something else.
Yeah. After some time, our fates are sealed as our tram pulls up for us to board. This is basically like the smallest door of any tram in Prague. Oh god, it's closing. This is until we got inside, but we're on 9170, which is the 14T holiday tram. So very unexpected, but very enticing. So the fun fact for line 10 is not the line itself, but its terminal at Sedliště Řepy for 2 reasons. First of all, Sedliště Řepy is the most western terminal in the whole DPP tram network. Second, if you ever came to Sedliště Řepy, you'll notice that there's a spur of tram tracks that leads on over to the Praha-Zličín train station, and those tram tracks overhang over a railway siding. This is where trams can get delivered or taken away via the railways. In my opinion, it's a pretty cool spot to say the least. And another cool thing about trams going to and from Sedliště Řepy is that they get to pass by the Motol tram depot, and sometimes there's a pretty interesting tram sitting outside the depot. Quick side note, we're passing by Kobylisy right now, and if you've watched my Prague Holiday Transit Fleet video, you'll remember that I was stuck at Kobylisy waiting for the exact same tram we are riding on now. Life has a funny way of making things go around. Tramception.
Nope. So many people out today.
And once more, we make it over to Hercovka to switch from line 10 over to line 6. Interesting thing about the whole trip, we started with line 10 at the beginning. There's like nobody on board. Then you get to the center of the city and it's crowded, but then you go to the outskirts at Hercovka where the line changes and it's empty again. But now we're gonna go back to the city center. It's gonna get crowded again, and then end at Kubanské náměstí where it's probably gonna be empty. So it's just funny that it's like empty, full, empty, full, empty.
Without the tram getting a break.
Yeah, exactly. So my fun fact for line 6 is, well, actually I don't have one. We already kind of mentioned what fun facts there are with line 14 related to line 6. So here's some pretty shots. Yay, it's the 4th time we come across Wenceslav Square. Whoa. But finally, we wrap up this trip at Kubanskie Náměstí. So that was the last line. Time will be posted on top of Finn's face.
Yay. We did it in this time.
Yeah. Now we're gonna head back to Hercovka so we can ride the shuttle X17 bus and the Line 37 tram so that we covered all the grounds of this diversion.
It's not worth doing this halfway.
No, it's not. Anyway, we're just gonna figure out how we're gonna get back there. But see you in Kobylisy. We lied about Hercovka. Yeah, well,
I mean, not so much as lied as didn't make a good plan.
yeah. We didn't have a plan. We just decided Kobylisy. So we're gonna ride X17 bus. That pretty much does a loop back around Kobylisy, somewhere further over there, and then we're gonna ride the 37 tram and call it a video. I guess. Yeah.
Oh, only ride the 37 tram.
Oh yeah, only.
It's gonna take over an hour, I'd say, but
yeah. So let's head on over to the bus. The shuttle bus is relatively short, but it does have to mix in with other traffic. It's Friday.
Oh, yeah, this is...
Maybe timing it was a good idea. And it also makes some pretty goofy turns.
The fun turn.
The fun turn.
Oh no, and yeah, that car is confused.
Just look at that turn from there to here. Wow. And that's the traffic we avoided, basically.
All the people in the cars look really depressed. I'm guessing they've been sitting there for a while.
Oh, 100%. Hey, we were just on that side 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we got on right over there. So we're now 6 minutes and 40 seconds into this supposedly 6-minute journey and all.
But with like a 1 minute delay.
I mean, it says 4 minutes on the app, but...
Error. We started in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
We started a stop later than we should. However, our bus was still delayed in the end. It was supposed to be an 8-minute ride in total. We made it about 10 minutes, and that even includes the wrong stop. So what we're gonna do later, we're just gonna be completionists and ride the one stop that we missed. But now we're gonna ride Line 37. I guess we're
going the wrong way.
We're going the wrong way again.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna walk to Kobylisy so that we can ride the entirety of Line 37 from start to finish in a clean sweep, unlike we've done with the buses, because we have not done the right approach with the buses.
It's kind of funny that we do everything correct with the trams, but like this one bus slide, we screwed up by one stop.
This is about the trams. This whole thing is happening because of the trams, okay? This is not a video about buses.
But it would be hilarious if it ends up being that we took more than 2 hours to get this stuff sorted out with like the 2 shortest lines in the whole diversion.
I mean, the other ones were easy. You just get on and you sit, right? This is where we actually have to employ some amount of thinking.
Yeah.
That's the beauty in the lines being stuck together.
Anyways, we'll see you over at Kobylisy. Now we're just waiting for the 37 tram to take us to Siedliště Diablice and then come back here and then go back to Kobylisy again.
And we're not going to forget to start the timer this time.
We're not going to forget to start the timer this time.
Probably.
Maybe. Probably not. We'll see. Anyways, let's board the 37. So I don't have any facts for Line 37 because it's just a temporary line. Although I guess that's interesting in itself. But actually there is a pretty unique movement we're doing in this shot. Well, I just realized that the term we just did, that is like rarely used. Normal revenue trams don't use that. Okay, that's not entirely true because there's actually trams in the early morning that go between Vozovna Kobylisy to Siedliště Diablice. Those are typically trams that come out of the depot to start their revenue run at Siedliště Diablice.
What a depressing stop. Okay, so almost exactly on time.
Nice. The 37 was not only on time, but under time.
Yeah.
Well, that's to Sidetrack, so we have to see how it's like.
No, it was under time by 10 seconds theoretically.
We'll see how it is on the way back to Vozovna Kobylisy.
Yeah,
So-
it better be exactly the same time.
Better be.
Can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we're boarding the tram now.
Secure this ball.
Bothered if I said we were getting off at Vozovna Kobylisy or not, but instead we got off at insert stop name here because I don't remember what it's
I
called.
can't read it anymore.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the stops.
So just put it up on Finn's face again. But now we're gonna complete the whole trip, so to speak. Take the one stop on the
one missing
X17.
piece of the puzzle.
So we're heading over to insert name of stop on Finn's face again to ride back to Kobylisy. And so we make one last trip for this entire journey on the X17 bus. That's gonna be like, get on, get on, get on, get on. We did it.
We survived.
We completed all the lines on the diversion.
Yeah, all because this stretch is cancelled.
Yeah. Yay. So,
Much ado about nothing,
yep.
if you ask me.
Anyways, hope everyone enjoyed this delightful trip, I want to say. It was
pretty wholesome.
Yeah, it was
we
pretty
got to
nice.
do a lot of sightseeing.
Yeah, like there weren't delays. They were long, some of them were long journeys and that was expected, so, can't complain
The
about
most
that.
traffic we got caught in was just now on the bus.
Yeah, that was
And now,
literally the worst.
like, it did kind of double the time that trip should take, but it doubled it from like 5 to 10 minutes, so can't
That's
really
fine.
complain.
But anyways, that's going to be this time for Sidetrack, and see you all in a different video. And with that, next stop